Allow me to take you back to a simpler time. 2015. The top songs on the radio are Uptown Funk, Thinking Out Loud, and See You Again. You and your friends are getting excited to see this new Avengers movie called Age of Ultron and cannot wait for them to drop a trailer for this brand new movie called The Force Awakens. But under the radar, Disney drops a new movie and you don't think too much about it called Cinderella, a reimagined live-action version of a classic movie. Wow, how cool. Whoa, okay, well, Cinderella made over $200 million at the box office, and now it's April 2016, and Disney does it again. The Jungle Book gets a live-action remake too, and it does very well. This live-action thing is really cool. Let's make a sequel to that weird Alice in Wonderland movie we made in 2010 and see how that goes. Oh, that's not good. Let's go back to doing remakes. Now it's 2018, and Beauty and the Beast gets a live-action remake. Oh, and it did insanely well. Live action is so cool. Let's make an original story in the Winnie the Pooh universe, but make it live action and see how that does. Oh, well, that certainly didn't work. You know what? It's 2019. What the heck? Let's make 4 live action remakes and a live action sequel and see what happens. Holy crap! Live action is the future! This will not tank our comedy reputation at all! I think you know how the rest of the story goes. It's hard to believe that the live action Cinderella is almost 10 years old, which means we've been fighting with Disney about live action remakes for about a decade now. I mark this movie as the start of the live-action phenomenon because it was the first modern retelling of a Disney classic. You could say, oh, but what about the 1994 Jungle Book, or the 1996 101 Dalmatians, or the 2010 Alice in Wonderland, or the 2014 Maleficent? Yes, that's fair, but in the modern sense of the term live-action remake that is thrown around so commonly, the 2015 Cinderella is just that. I don't want to beat a dead horse because we've been riding the live-action remake bad train for so long, but I'm just at a point where I'm like, what is happening? Disney recently dropped a teaser for the live-action Lilo and Stitch, we just got some set leaks for the live-action Moana, and Dreamworks just released the trailer for the live-action How to Train Your Dragon, which we will definitely be getting into later. But first, we need to start at the beginning. Why do we need live-action remakes? I think my main problem with this concept is that it implies that there's something wrong with animation. It says that the original version of the story isn't good enough and we could make it better because we had no idea what we were doing back then, and modern technology makes everything better. This is extremely disrespectful to animation as a medium and is disrespectful to the people that have poured their lives into making high-quality animated Disney movies over the decades. While we have made a lot of strides and that animation isn't just for kids' fight, we're also slowly devaluing animation by assuming that modern technology makes it easier. Now, don't get me wrong, it does. The animation quality we are achieving today with computers would have either taken artists decades to draw by hand or would have been simply impossible. But every time technology grows, our expectations grow with it. We've gone so numb to the idea of animation being difficult that when a new animated movie comes out, we just toss it on the pile. I really think we should all just take a second, take a step back, and realize animation is really freaking cool. And the idea that slapping a modern star and a modern style of filmmaking and we need to right the wrongs and do this old story again isn't just disrespectful and arrogant, but it's telling of the state of creative bankruptcy that we're experiencing right now. That being said, I would also like to say something that I think a lot of people are afraid of saying. Some of the live-action remakes are kinda good. The 2015 Cinderella movie is really well cast and has some pleasing visuals. It's a much darker take on the story and pulls from the original fairy tale more and is quite enjoyable. Disney purists will kill me for saying it, and this is one of the hotter takes that I have, but the 2017 Beauty and the Beast is probably the best remake they've done. They did a good job fleshing out Belle as a character more, and the songs they added are absolute bangers. You cannot tell me that when Evermore comes on, you're not belting at the top of your lungs in the car. Other than that, I don't really have anything nice to say. Aladdin was fine, I just don't know why they'd even try to replace Robin Williams, it just can't be done. Lady and the Tramp sucks, it was just so Disney Plus could have a convincing launch title. Mulan is one of the worst edited films I've seen in my life, and somehow they made one of the most fun and colorful Disney animated movies boring and dull in The Little Mermaid, and decided the way to improve it was to add Awkwafina doing a Lin-Manuel Miranda rap? I ask again, what is happening? I feel like we can all agree the best live action remakes that are actually stomachable are the ones that have a different angle to tell their story from, or if they have something good to add to the original story. I actually really like the Maleficent movie because it's a super different take on Sleeping Beauty and even has a different ending entirely. The worst possible example of this is The Lion King. I will out myself now. I am a certified Lion King hater. I'm not saying it's a bad movie by any means. I actually think it's a very well done movie, but it's kind of overhyped as a story and I just don't get it. Anytime I share this opinion, someone is bound to say, "Oh, but The Lion King is just Shakespeare. Do you not like Shakespeare?" No, I don't like Shakespeare. In 2019, Disney learned the worst lesson possible. They released a newly animated version of The Lion King, and it was basically a carbon copy of the original, but in a photorealistic animation style. I'm so sick of people calling this the live-action remake of The Lion King because this is not real, and the fact that this was the highest-grossing animated movie of all time for 5 years, only to get beat out by Inside Out 2 of all movies, is so telling of the current state of animation. And since we live in a constant state of remediation, this is not the first time we've had a just okay movie demolish the box office by simply using a new technology. Avatar. Even the biggest James Cameron fans will tell you that Avatar as a movie really isn't that special. It was just a technological marvel for the time, which made it a must-see event and is now a $3 billion giant. Now, I'll admit, the technology we have to make photorealistic animals like this is actually really cool, but it seems like it would fit better at a show at Animal Kingdom rather than a feature-length movie. I'm not going to talk about the Mufasa movie too much. It offended me deep enough to warrant its own video, but essentially it's all so dull and really sad and has maybe the worst Disney music ever put on screen. The point of animation is to build a new world that can transport an audience somewhere else, so why use this technology to make something that looks like our world but worse? Alright, I promised I'd talk about it, so here we go. The live-action version of How to Train Your Dragon will hit theaters June 13th, 2025. And this is important because this is the first time Dreamworks has tried to get a piece of the live-action remake pie. How to Train Your Dragon is some of Dreamworks' best comprehensive work. I am a huge fan of these movies, and seeing this story in live action is cool, I guess, but I'm left with the same question. Why? Who is this for? Who asked for this? What is so wrong with the original movie that we feel like we need to do it again? The answer to all these questions is actually very simple. It's because of money. I would bet that this live-action How to Train Your Dragon movie is gonna do exceptionally well, and we'll end up seeing a whole series from it. Based on the trailer, it looks like Dreamworks has really put some care into the production of this movie, which is really good, and I'm curious to see how this new venture pans out for them. I'm just concerned because we saw the slippery slope of live-action remakes that Disney fell down the last few years, and if Dreamworks did that too, I would be so sad. Dreamworks has recently put out some really great movies, but they've also proved that they're not afraid to do a cash grab, and with live-action remakes dominating the box office, it's very understandable why they'd go this route. I just don't want to live in a world where my options at the movie theater are another live-action Lion King movie, the live-action How to Train Your Dragon, the live-action Lilo and Stitch, or the live-action Moana. Have we lost our minds? What happened to original ideas? Have we genuinely gotten to a point of so much creative bankruptcy that we feel like we have to make Toy Story 5? The fourth one was booty cheeks. Just give up already. I really don't know how to end this video except by saying, you tell studios what you want with your wallet. So if you want anything to change, you have to act like Disney is a begging dog and just ignore them. As long as live action remakes are so successful in the box office, they're not gonna stop. But this is really hard because most of the people going to see these movies are families with kids. And historically speaking, movies that the whole family can see will almost always be more successful. But since nothing else good is being put in the theaters, families are forced to just go see whatever CG crap Disney spoon feeds them. And then Disney walks away with a couple $1 billion while exerting no creative effort. But I want to know what you think. Have live action remakes died out over the last decade, or is this just the beginning? Drop a comment down below and send this to a friend that you think would enjoy. And if you like this kind of content, make sure you subscribe for more just like it. We're super close to 1,000 subscribers, so if you want to aid me in that journey, make sure you subscribe and tell all your other friends to subscribe too. We really appreciate your support. I will see you in the next video. Bye!